Welcome to Tea Time with Malea and Jack. I'm Jack.
And I'm Malea.
So, Malea, did you hear about Claire's ex-boyfriend, Jake?
No, what happened?
So, Claire's ex-boyfriend, Jake, from Indiana, broke up with her, right?
Yes.
And he slept with her best friend, Jenna.
Oh, crazy Jenna?
Yeah, crazy Jenna. And she's pregnant.
Is it Jake's?
Well, we don't know. Because
Who else could it be?
Well, because Jenna has that thing for Cokehead Joe. And we all know Jenna. So, it's probably Cokehead Joe's.
It's probably yeah, you're honestly right. It probably is Coquette Joe's. And that's the tea. But Jack, did you hear about Kyle's friends in the dorms?
I don't think so, no.
Well, Kyle's knows this girl's in the dorms. And so her and her boyfriend have been a little rocky. And so they cheat on each other all the time. And they break up and they get back together. And it's just a whole crazy mess. So basically what happened was this girl's like sleeping around and she thinks she's gonorrhea. So she goes to the health center, she gets it tested. And she doesn't have gonorrhea. She's 4 months pregnant.
That's not the same thing at all?
Correct, that's what I said. So she's super excited about it, even though she doesn't know who the father is.
Right.
So she's super excited. She's got a picture of the ultrasound. She's got the baby name all picked out and everything. So she's going through, she swears off all the hard drugs. And, except for her 20th birthday, because that's when fetal alcohol syndrome takes a break and you can drink and do cocaine and stuff when you turn 20.
Naturally.
As you do. So, but then she kind of lays low for a while. And she's someone who loves social media. And she wasn't posting anything. But then this picture surfaces of her at like 6 months, where she would have been 6 months pregnant. And her stomach's as flat as a board. And she'd be showing because it's 6 months.
Right.
And so then, come to find out, she wasn't actually pregnant. She faked the pregnancy to get back at her boyfriend from cheating on her when she was cheating on him after he almost ran them off the road trying to kill her.
What?
After she threw a brick through his window.
What?
Yeah.
That's some tea.
That is some tea. Indeed.
Did you hear about Brian from High School Consumer Economics?
Hot Brian?
Hot Brian.
Well, what happened with Hot
I
Brian?
remember Hot Brian.
I
So,
remember Hot Brian.
anyway, Hot Brian's in prison.
Why?
So there was a whole thing with like a car and a gun and a knife and I think a shovel.
Okay.
It was like a whole ass scary movie up in there. Yeah, I know.
Of course.
Well, too long, didn't read. He's in jail. And his sister is dead.
Not Stacy.
Not Stacy. Actually, yes, Stacy.
That's
That's
some tea.
It's some sad tea, but it's some tea.
That is
And that's
some
awkward because you had a thing for
Oh,
hot.
I did have a thing for Brian. Well, Jack, that was some very hot piping tea, and we appreciate it. But coming up, we have some tea sent in from viewers like you. We will be right back. Welcome back to Tea Time with Malea and Jack. Here's our first tea submitted by a viewer, and this tea comes from Teresa. Teresa says, my roommates are constantly leaving dirty dishes in the sink, and I mean giant mountains of dishes in our one sink. Now to get back at them, I've started taking dishes out from the piles and leaving them under their beds and putting them in their closets, and they have no idea. Is this too petty? Well, Teresa, it looks like you're being petty, but honestly, that's more power to you. And that's the tea, sis.
This tea comes from Veronica. My mom hired a pool boy over the summer to help with some of the yard work, and since he was around all the time, sparks started to fly. Ooh, that's spicy. Well, anyway, we decided to keep it a secret because we didn't want my mom to find out and fire him. So after the summer ended, we ended up keeping a long-distance relationship while I was away at school. So I came home one time to surprise him, and except I found him in the pool getting close to my mom. And then I found out that my mom and him were dating. And then my mom ended up hitting him with her car because she was mad at him for cheating on her with me. Well, I hope you guys didn't also share the car. And that's the tea, sis.
Our next tea is from Jenna. Jenna says, my older roommate Becky and her boyfriend John love Game of Thrones, and they all watched it using John's HBO password. Well, Becky started pulling a Robert Baratheon, and she started partaking in the nightly pastimes, if you know what I mean, and John didn't know. Well, eventually he found out about it, and all of her visits to the other sirs, and he pulled a Ned Stark and cut her off. And her HBO Now is an HBO No. And as we all know, the night is dark and full of terrors. And that's the tea, sis.
This tea is submitted by Shelley. Shelley had a friend named Steve who had a terrible girlfriend, and Steve and his girlfriend's family became very close, a little too close, you might say. Steve and his girlfriend's dad started hanging out and then making out, and then when Steve's dad would go out of town, he would start hooking up with his girlfriend's mom, and then he started sleeping with one of his girlfriend's brother, and they started hanging out and hooking up, and eventually the whole family was hooking up with Steve, and they all found out they were hooking up with Steve, and they all broke it off, but they didn't tell the girlfriend. Now Shelley has not spoken to Steve ever since she found out about that, and that's probably a good thing. And that's the tea, sis. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Remember, if there's tea and you need to spill it, send it in to us here on Tea Time with Jack and Malea. Join us next time.